Your power goes out, remember just how inconvenient your life can be. No lights, no refrigeration, no heating or cooling, no electronics. But with a Generac home standby generator, you'll have power when you need it. Our Generac generators automatically provide backup power after sensing a power outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Get a free 10-year warranty with the purchase of any air-cooled generator. Call Generac Generators today. Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A, this is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Friday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live. Thanks for joining. Kind of an OG group in here today because we're not on the spot tonight. I'm not sure what's on. I think women's hockey is on. And we don't really have a lot of weather going on, but we have Mother's Day weekend coming up, so we're going to talk about that as well. Let's do some hellos. Our OG group is here. Stephen in Clearwater, good to see you. We've got Anna Maria. So 2 days in a row, Kelly Snow has been in the chat group on Facebook. Now, yesterday, it was because she was supporting Erica from the Palm Harbor Hurricane Expo. And we have a guest tonight that we're going to bring in just a second. And Kelly is in support of Tamara as well. So we have Dave, how you doing? Good to see you. Annie, nice to see you. Diane, we have Terry in Largo. Emily, good to see you. Steve, my buddy, how you been? It's been a while. Red, nice to see you as well. Dominique, Newport Richie. So before we get into this, I felt compelled to talk about this. So for whatever reason, I have missed the rule that allows you. So we were driving to the Lightning game on Sunday, and driving down, I can't remember what road. I don't drive in downtown Tampa very often because I live in Pinellas, and I just don't get to downtown very often. But we were driving down, I don't know if it was Ashley or not, whatever the road is I was driving on. It's one way, and came up to a red light and was going to turn left on Jackson Street, which is also one way, and there's a red arrow. And I just got to it, and my wife is like, "You can turn red on that you can turn left on that red arrow." I'm like, "What? It's right turn on red. It's not left turn on red." Like, "No, if it's one way, you can turn left." I'm like, "No." so not that I didn't believe her, but I didn't believe her. So anyway, didn't turn red. And again, I never am driving downtown Tampa. I just don't. I mean, I live in Pinellas, and I go west. I don't go east. Unless I go to a Bolts game or the convention center. But anyway, so, I finally, for whatever reason, today I Googled it and I looked it up. I'm like, yep, sure enough, you can turn left if you're on a one-way road and you're coming to a light that has a red arrow that is also one way, you can turn left on red. Well, I automatically felt like, and I immediately felt like I needed to defend my driving that I've been driving for literally 45 years. I've never had a speeding ticket. I've never had a ticket. I had one accident one time after driving 20 hours straight. My fault. The accident, a motorcycle hit me. He was fine. But, my excuse was I'd been driving 20 straight hours. Point is, I knew I would be getting called out of my driving abilities. I've had 6 kids that I've gone through the driving test with them with the handbook, and I swear I don't ever remember hearing that anyway. But clearly, y'all did, or at least some of you did. But I say that, I brought it up to 2 people in our newsroom, one of which is probably in his 20s, The other one is in his 40s, I guess. Neither one of them knew that either. So, so it wasn't just me. But in case you never knew it, you learned something new today. Maybe y'all knew it. I don't know. If you're at a red light on a one-way road and you have a red arrow, you can turn left on red. There you go. And you guys know me. I laugh at myself. Please, I do weather. I mean, I'm wrong how much of the time. I mean, it kind of goes with the territory. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Jillian Ramos, who used to work at the station, who I love Jillian, big Lightning fan. She moved on to other endeavors about a month ago. She literally texted me a story that we did here in 2019, talking about the fact that you can turn left on red at a red arrow. So anyway, there you go. If you didn't know, you're welcome. If you did know, yeah, I don't know how I missed it. And every one of those kids that I helped them take the driving test, the written part with, every one of them, well, we didn't really study. Matter of fact, I just said, just take it. You'll be fine. Don't even bother looking at it. And they did, and they all passed it. So I don't know. Anyway, I digress. All right, we're gonna get into weather, but Tamara is here with us because we have a really cool function. So let us welcome Tamara to Dennis Phillips Live. Tamara, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Super
and we've
excited.
Been on the show before.
Yes, sure.
Yes. So Tamara is with the Feast Food Pantry. Now that is very close to where I live, right off of right in Nebraska, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, in Palm Harbor. So you got a big event coming up tomorrow. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about what's happening, and I'm going to go ahead and just show the flyer that you sent, where you're stamping out hunger on Saturday, May 9th. So tell folks how they can get involved.
Yes, tomorrow is a huge day. This is a nationwide initiative with the post office carriers, and it's the easiest way that people can donate and help their community. Here at Feast, we're expecting 40,000 pounds of food. So all you have to do is go into your pantry and find non-perishable items that haven't been expired. And if you got this bag in the mail, which most people probably did receive, you can go ahead, put your items in that bag and put it out by your mailbox. If you didn't get the bag, that's okay too. You can use any bag and just put the items out by your mailbox and your letter carrier will pick it up. So it's a big, important day.
Show the bag again, because I was showing the flyers. So,
Sure.
So one more time. So exactly, where did they get this?
So this bag was placed in mailboxes. I do know some people didn't get it. So if you didn't get it, that's okay. Just use a Publix bag or any type of bag and put your items in that. And your letter carrier will do all the work for you. And it'll go to local pantries in our community to help families in need.
By the way, Tamara, as I'm looking at the comments, most of the comments are still debating whether or not you can turn left on a red light. So,
I can see why that is. Yeah, that's very controversial.
But you knew that? You knew that law?
I didn't know it. No, absolutely not. No. And in fact, I have someone about to take the driving test, so I cannot wait to tell him.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I
me
feel
neither.
dumb.
Me too.
But
there's a lot of things I don't know, though, so I'm not surprised. I didn't know.
My wife was looking at me like, are you crazy? Why aren't you turning? I'm like, it's a left. You turn right on red. She's like, no, you can turn left. Get out of here. Anyway, I digress. All right, so let's go back to the graphic. And so you've got how it works listed, and there's 4 things that you can do. So again, recap for the folks who are just turning in. And this is tomorrow. Is this the only day that they can do this?
Yes, but if you can't do it tomorrow, you can always go to your local food pantries and bring the food after. Everybody is obviously very appreciative of whatever they can get. But the easiest thing for everybody is literally tonight or tomorrow morning, walk into your pantry and say, oh, hey, I'm not going to have this, or I'm not going to have that, or go to Publix, fill that bag that you received in the mail, or take your own bag, just tie it up and put it right by your mailbox. And that's all you have to do. It'll literally get delivered to the local food pantry that you live by. So, and this is nationwide, so it's happening everywhere. We at Feast, it is really the only way we can sustain through the summer is because of this national initiative. So if we can get everybody in the local area to just give, it really helps our neighbors in need. And last year, our organization provided food to 62,000 people. And so we
Wow.
definitely need as much food as possible.
That is amazing. So the letter carriers, I mean, so when by the way, this is just funny, I don't know why, but so my son Jake, who's a high school senior and he graduated, going to be going to UF in the fall, he just mailed some letters the last couple of days ago, and he actually put them in the mailbox and put the flag up. And I'm thinking, people don't do that anymore, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, people don't. And a lot of people have said, oh, the bag, like I didn't even know what to do. I don't even go to the mailbox. I go once a week. So this
Right.
yeah, which, you know, tomorrow, if you could just make it out there, get your mail, put that out there. And the letter carriers are working hard, you know, in addition to their regular route, they're picking up all this food because they know there's a lot of people in the community who need help. So this is a great way to get involved.
All right, so this is going on tomorrow, no matter where you are, if you're watching, you have a bag, you bring it out, put it next to your mailbox, and you'll be helping out. But let's say the folks can't or want to get involved other ways to help out the Feast Food Pantry. Tell us a little bit about what y'all do for the area and how folks can get involved with that as well.
Sure. Like I mentioned, you know, last year we saw 62,000 people. And when families come to us, they get a 4-day supply of food. And they get perishable items like meat, milk, produce, and then they get these non-perishables like we're collecting tomorrow. And most of these families are working families who just can't make ends meet. They're just, you know, people who are sitting next to your kid in the classroom, or maybe someone that you go to church with, someone that you see in the grocery store, families that just need a little bit of extra help. So we're here to do that for them. So the way you can help is by doing this tomorrow. You can also visit our website, which is www.feastfoodpantry.org. You can give a monetary donation there. Like I said, we buy a lot of food. We buy the eggs, we buy the milk, we buy some other items as well. So that's another way you can help. You can also go onto our website if you're interested in volunteering. We take, like you mentioned, seniors in high school. We take any high school student who needs Bright Futures hours. We love to have them here. They bring a lot of fun energy to our organization. And we're always looking for volunteers. We're looking for people to host food drives. That's another easy way. If you live in a neighborhood, you can just put up on your website or on your neighborhood Facebook page, oh, hey, we're having a food drive. So just contact us. Any way you want to get involved and help, we're open to ideas and suggestions. We just love to partner with people.
And a lot of comments here. Annie says she's doing 2 full bags tomorrow. Now, Kathy says she's got bags all set to go in the morning, but she says that is there going to be a drop box also at the Park and Recs building?
Yes, we have drop boxes at the Park and Rec building here at Feast. We also have one at the library and at the YMCA. So we have different places in the area that always have boxes. So you can certainly drop to those and we can pick up from there as well if that's easier for you.
Now, Red wants to know if you can drop it off at the post office.
Yes, we'll have a team by the post office, and they're fully aware that people will be dropping off as well. It's easiest really if you leave it at your mailbox for you, but if you'd like to go to the post office, that's fine too. Or you can come to us. We'll be here all day tomorrow. We're at 2255 Nebraska. We'd love to see people stop by. You could kind of see our operation. It's going to be a great day. We're really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Now you're going to have you're going to be busy all day tomorrow. I was going to say you're not going to get a chance to go to the Hurricane Expo, are you?
I'm going to try to pop in there for sure. Yeah, wouldn't want to miss that for Erica and you and everyone else.
Yeah, I'll be there, I think, between around 11:30 and 12:30. So big day across all of Pinellas County tomorrow and across their whole Bay Area. So again, one last time, remind folks how they can get involved tomorrow. And I really appreciate you coming on.
For sure. And I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. Just really get this bag that you got in your mailbox or get any bag you have, go to your pantry and get any item, soup, cereal, peanut butter, anything that you think a family would need and want. Just put it in that bag, go ahead and put it by your mailbox, grab your mail, and then your letter carrier will pick it up for you. Or, you know, like we said before, if you'd rather take it to one of those donations here at 2255 Nebraska Avenue or the YMCA, the Rec Center, or the Palm Harbor Library, you can drop there as well. And then if you can't do it this week, come on by anytime next week when we're open, or if you just want to drop in our boxes or visit our website to do a monetary donation. However you want to help, we really appreciate it. There's a lot of neighbors in need, and we're here to support them.
And looking at the flyer, it says non-perishable goods, so it has to be
Yes.
non-perishable food. And it also suggests that it should be by the mailbox by 9 o'clock in the morning. Is that kind of a set thing? I mean, I guess it's whenever your mail shows up.
Exactly. Yes, we just use 9 o'clock just as a general. But if you know your mail carrier comes later, you can definitely put it out later. It's whenever they typically come.
And lastly, it stays local.
100%. And
Yeah,
all
I
of
think-
this food goes out to families that are right here. You know, the majority of families that we see are Palm Harbor, Dunedin, Oldsmar, a little bit of Pasco County, but these are local families who need help.
Awesome. Well, Tamara, thank you very much for all the work that you and the group does. Really appreciate you. Good luck tomorrow, and thanks for coming on Dennis Phillips Live.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Take care. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, so that's awesome, and that's that's a wonderful organization. I mean, we've had Tamara on before, and it sounds like it's tomorrow is going to be a massive undertaking, and it isn't just Pinellas. I mean, it sounds like it is something going on nationwide tomorrow. So hopefully you get a chance to take part and help out. Again, non-perishable items right there in the plastic bag, right there, tied up, right up by your mailbox, and help out. So anyway, as I was looking here, I still, of course, the comments coming about the red light and everything else just makes me laugh. Tomorrow, again, I will be live at the Hurricane Expo. I think it's 10 to 2. I'm not 100% positive. I think it is. Might even be 9, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to be there at 11:15-ish. And then Mike and I, Mike Boyle and Mike Weatherpage, we're going to be talking from 11:30 until whenever, I guess, maybe 12:15 or so. And then I'm immediately going over to Devines because I'm telling you, I keep hearing there's going to be a J.J. Gandy's pop-up tent over there. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to go over if there is because I'm going to get myself a key lime pie and some of those key lime cookies and orange cookies because they are exceptional. Cruz Mike, how you doing? Good to see you. So you need, Cruz Mike, you need to be coming in out of Tampa. I mean, look, if you're going to take one of those cruise lines out of Port Canaveral, the bigger ships are over on the East Coast, they are. But if you come over to the West Coast and you decide to cruise out of Tampa, then we're going to have you in studio for DPL. We can co-host DPL together. So there's your incentive to go from the East Coast on Carnival. Look, they have Carnival cruise lines out of here too. They have Royal, they have Carnival, they have Margaritaville. The difference is obviously the cruise ships have to fit under the Skyway. That's why we don't have the big Oasis class ships on the West Coast because they would not fit under the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, which is really awesome as it is because I swear, it looks like when you cruise under that bridge, I swear, it looks like you can just reach up and touch that thing. You can't, but it's really, really close. So it's always kind of fun. You know, we have talked, Jules, we did talk about a DPL cruise. I don't know, so I talked to my boss about it, and she's I think she was, I don't know. I don't know if she was lukewarm on the idea or if there's just the whole liability thing. Because, if you're the boss, you always got to think about that stuff. I'm not the boss. I'm the one who they'd be liable for more than likely because that's just me. But maybe we could do something where it was a non-official DPL cruise, but we still had a bunch of DPL cruisers. I don't know. I should talk more in depth. Because we have talked about this, like maybe next spring break or something. Because it would be a blast. And Cruise Mike, you could then come out of Tampa, and we could have you on DPL. Mike says that. I'll do a cruise from Tampa next year. Mike, if you do it, then you are absolutely welcome. You can co-host DPL. DPL on one of the nights. I don't know how we got to this. Yeah, Jules is like insurance. Yeah, I think that might, I don't know. Yeah, the unofficial thing would work, I think. But I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble. But all right, let's look at the Euro. So Mother's Day weekend is here. Oh, you know, I want to show the other maps because my favorite map of the entire year is always Bridget. How you doing? Good to see you. My unofficial favorite map of the entire year is the Mother's Day map, which I ran on air today. And, you know, used to be, we talked about this, there was a period of time where I was not allowed to show certain maps because they did not fit the certain template or whatever. I don't know what the word is. But, you know, we had a certain style guide. And for the entire corporate group, right, it isn't just our station, it's all of them. Well, here was the downside. Sometimes you can slide under the radar and maybe people don't notice things. But when our art hub is located 2 floors up from where we are right here, and they live in Tampa, and they're watching our local news because that's the news that they get. So if I'm using these graphics that I'm not supposed to be, I get emails. I get buzzed. I get banned. But of late, they've been a little, and you guys know me, I think the old retro holiday maps, let me tell you, every single time I show one of those maps, I always get comments from our producers. I always get comments from the viewers because they like them, because they make them feel warm and fuzzy. So maybe they don't have the exact font style and color and whatnot as some of the other stuff, but they look nice and they look community driven, which is our buzzwords. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at graphics. The drought, we know we're still in a drought. We're going to be in a drought for a while, unless we get a tropical storm. Otherwise, it's going to take quite a while. I'm with you, David. The football turkeys are awesome. I am so with you. Yeah, I was told not to use those as well. The art czars were watching. They were watching closely. And I used to get all these nasty emails. I haven't got one in a while, though. Kelly, this will be, yes, this will live on my Facebook page. So once this ends, it will be there to rewatch. So you'll be able to see it again. All right, there's a look at radar. There's still some rain going on up north. Some really nice rains from New Orleans back to Pensacola, Mobile, Biloxi, Panama City, Tallahassee. Really, really nice rains going on up there. That front's been lingering for days. Now, again, well, Steve, it wasn't a DPL thing. It was a newscast thing. And you're right. I think they're probably more lenient on DPL because, after all, we are religious programming and inspirational programming. If you know, you know. So I could probably get away with a little bit more being, you know, more of a inspirational / religious program. Yeah, I know. Anyway, there's a look right now at what's going on from St. Augustine. Still some rain. So yeah, there's some rain. There is some rain out there. And I guess the big question will be, is it going to rain on Mother's Day? So there's the rain. I'm looking around here. Maybe a little bit of rain over there by Apopka. You know, but otherwise our area is dry. There are some showers offshore too. How far are those offshore? Let's see. About 70 miles offshore. Look where I went from. That's just funny. I went from my house. I should have gone from Tampa. Anyway. All right. So temperatures right now, it was another stinking hot day. No other way to describe it. Tess, you are late to the party, but thank you very much for showing up. Amy just learned something new. I bet she learned you could turn left on red. When you're on one way and you're going one way. I bet you learned it. Is that what it was, Amy? Because I learned it today. I did not know that. I know. Rain in Manatee on Mother's Day? I do not think so, Tess. I do not think so. All right. 93 in Bartow, 94 in Wauchula. Those are the feels like temperatures right now. Lisa, how are you? Nice to see you. I love your middle name. If I had had another daughter, I would want to have named her Sierra. I do love that name. Sean! Sean only shows up when the 540 line is nearby. It's a true story. All right, this morning, we started anywhere from the mid-60s to the mid-70s. It was warm. It was stinking hot. That is correct. There are the highs today. Theodore wants to know my take on the Atlantic hurricane season. I will talk about that in a little bit, since you asked. Highs in the mid-90s inland and the upper 80s non-inland. Outside right now, partly sunny, 85 degrees. The dew point of 70. So it's Niam from Ireland. She's here from Ireland. Oh, I know I'm trashing your name. I apologize. Is it Niam? No, oh man, I'll never get that right. But I love it. It's such a pretty name to look at. I love that name. You're on vacation here from Ireland, so welcome. All right, the Gulf is up to 78, 79 degrees. Yes, my daughter had snow in Colorado yesterday, Ren. Carla, how are you? Good to see you. Ooh, nice sunset. Oh, wow. Hold on. Stand by. I'm going to make that go away. There you go. What do you think those people are doing out there? Do they know that 11 billion people... Is that a shark? Is that a shark on the right side? No, it's a table. Not in the water. I meant like, it looked like a shark inflatable. Hey, there's a couple of people in the water out there. You can see them. But otherwise, not so much. Not a lot of people in the water because it's too cold. If it's 80, oh, here we go. Neve. Oh, nice. That is a beautiful name, Neve. I love that name. And welcome. How long are you in town till? You came all the way to Tampa from Ireland. Wow. Neve, that's great. All right, anyway, there's a beautiful, that's a gorgeous sunset, guys. That is a beautiful sunset, right? Should I share that picture? Yeah, I'm going to share that picture. Stand by. I'm going to share that picture on Facebook. Let's see. Post, snapshot. Stand by. Got to do it while it's still there. Otherwise, it'll be gone shortly. Come on. Load. Beautiful sunset on the beach. All right. Me, Greg, Allie, Jason, X, Instagram. Post. Okay, it's posted. So that will show up on Facebook in a minute. All right. One more week. Yeah, it's hot. I mean, it is hot. All right, it does. That looks like a postcard. And there was the high today, 89, but it was mid-90s inland. So there's a look at the satellite, the radar, a few showers across our northern sections of, Alachua County, Gainesville area. Back over toward Flagler, Daytona, St. Augustine area. But most of the area is dry. Tomorrow, Saturday, looks very nice. Mixture of clouds and sun, another hot one, maybe a few showers. Maybe a couple of showers, not too many, but maybe. Maybe 10% or less coverage. Mother's Day, partly cloudy. I do think we'll have a little more cloud cover on Sunday than we will have on Saturday. But there's very little chance of any significant rain. Notice on Tuesday, maybe a degree or two cooler because a front is actually going to come through, and there it is. Neve, how did you find our show if you're in Ireland? I'm curious about that. How did you find our show? Dawn's going to be driving to Kentucky next Thursday. I will show you that in a minute, too. I got all these questions to answer. We're done with streaming in a minute, 10 seconds. So there's the rain on Monday. Water temperature 78, still too cold. South winds at 5 knots, seas a foot, light chop on the bay. There's your beach forecast tomorrow, partly cloudy. Highs in the low 80s. There's the 7-day. Couple of showers tomorrow, couple of showers on Mother's Day, a few more Monday into early Tuesday, and then drying out again behind that front. And my favorite graphic of the entire year, I love this Mother's Day graphic. I love it. Partly sunny, high of around 90 degrees. Love that graphic. And it is, it is an old school, low res graphic. It's no AI, it's none of that stuff. And I love AI graphics, but I just love it. So anyway, streamers, have a great weekend. Have a very happy Mother's Day. We'll be back on Monday. We got some really fun guests coming next week on DPL, including Six the Musical. We'll see you next week on DPL. Okay, streamers are, Stan, how you doing? Streamers are gone, but we are still here. Yeah, so next week, We're going to have Dr. Beach Gem on, which is awesome. She has like 3 million followers on TikTok. We are going to have a behind-the-scenes tour from the musical Six, which is awesome. My daughter's, I think Hamilton might be her favorite, but Six is right up there as well. And it's at the Straz next week, Tuesday to Sunday, I believe. So that's going to be really, really awesome. I don't know who else we have. I can't remember. But I am trying my best to get a guest pretty much almost every night. Because if there's no weather to talk about, we got to have something, right? I don't want to bore you guys to tears. All right, let's go back and look at, because I want to answer your questions. We had questions about driving, and we had questions about the hurricane season. All right, so let's look at the time frame. All right, here we go. By the way, I saw The Devil Wears Prada 2 today. It was okay. I love The Devil Wears Prada. Love that movie. I really did. I thought it was, that movie just, I watched that movie over and over again. Devil Wears Prada 2 was okay. I'd give The Devil Wears Prada a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10. I would give Devil Wears Prada 2 a 6. To me, it was fine. It was fine. But the first one was so good to me that I just think it was really hard to compare. Anyway, all right, let's go back to graphics. All right. Okay. There's a look at Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, rain from Gainesville north. 8 p.m. tomorrow night, still pretty much dry around our area, maybe an isolated shower in a couple of spots. Mother's Day morning, 8 a.m., pretty quiet. Maybe a few scattered afternoon showers, not too many. Maybe a couple, mostly inland. And then on Monday, there's Monday morning, 8 o'clock, Monday afternoon, 2 o'clock, and there comes the front. Look at Monday night. If the Euro is right, Monday night will be a fright. All right? Look at that. I think we've got a decent chance of some rain late and maybe even a couple of storms. Yeah, Theodore, okay, I'll talk about hurricane season just a second. So, and then there's Wednesday and Thursday, and we're back to dry. Okay? All right. Tampa. Notice the highs on Monday and Tuesday, back in the middle 80s. Morning lows Wednesday morning, back in the mid to upper 60s. So it's going to be a little bit cooler. Charlotte wants to know about the Gainesville fire. What time in the evening, probably, Charlotte? All right, you know what? Let's call up FWC. Hold on. Let's call it up. Let's call it up. All right, here's the fire map. Yeah, see, really nothing in our area very much. But there's, you can click on this and it tells you what it is. That's 106 acres, 85% contained. 302 acres, 90% contained. The ones north of Gainesville have been the bigger ones. That's only an acre. That's 205 acres, 65% contained. In our area, Hardee County was 29 acres, mostly contained. Eastern Manatee County, 0, very small. But the ones in Georgia have been the really big ones. This is just for Florida, though. But they have a much bigger drought and wildfire danger in the northern part of the state than we do. This is one going on down here. 97 acres, 70% contained. So really not too bad, considering it was worse a couple of weeks ago in many spots. All right, so, all right, let's talk about hurricane season, all right? So Theodore had asked, I believe it was Theodore, I can't remember for sure, had asked about the Euro and its predictions. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things. I will say this until the cows come home, that whenever that may be, by the way, is it all boils down to El Nino, and the Euro is very, 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 very bullish on an El Nino this summer into the fall and winter. To the degree of that El Nino, if you're talking 2 degrees, 1 degree, 3 degrees, that makes a big difference on how strong it is, obviously. But the end result is it will likely lower the overall number of storms that develop, all right? Now listen to this. This is very important, and I've done the research on this. So let's make the assumption that the overall number of storms that develop will be lower if there's an El Nino. And historically, that is the way it plays out. It also plays out where we get a much more active subtropical jet. We get much more severe weather in the deep south in Florida and heavier rain. Not in the summer into the early fall, but in the late fall into winter. I think that is a definite possibility if, again, the El Nino materializes like the models say it will. Sometimes they're wrong. Look, you guys know my take on long-range hurricane predictions. They're lukewarm at best. Any long-range prediction is lukewarm at best. So just because the Euro is all in on a super El Nino of a 3 to 3.5 degree temperature variance does not necessarily mean that it's going to happen. But there seems to be enough agreement that, yes, we are going to have an El Nino. So if we say we are going to have an El Nino, we more than likely will see fewer named storms. That's it. But statistically speaking, the number of named storms in the Atlantic has not shown a significant difference one way or the other in how many hurricanes form in the Gulf and ones that pose a threat to the west coast of Florida. So it's apples and oranges in a lot of ways. Even though you may have fewer named storms overall in the Atlantic Basin, there's no definitive relationship between a lower or a slower season and fewer Gulf storms. Because what often happens is, even though fewer storms form, the ones that do quite often form closer to the U.S. coastline. So you might have fewer named storms, but you might have the same or even more storms threatening the Gulf Coast. Now, typically in an El Nino, the Caribbean is shut down. So those storms that move through the Caribbean, right, through the Caribbean and kick up around Jamaica and go up into the Yucatan and whatnot into the Gulf, there are fewer of those tracks because of those arrows that you see right there. Those arrows will cut off the development. We had a couple of years ago, when we had an El Nino, we had literally no development in the Caribbean the entire year. Nothing. And then you get your Saharan dust in the mix, which is not included in any of these forecasts. So we've said it once, we'll say it a million times. It only takes one. And even though, yes, there will probably be fewer named storms overall, that does not mean the threat is significantly lower or higher for the west coast of Florida. So it's that simple. All right. So anyway, guys, I hear you, John. Y'all need it. So do we. Carol, how you doing? Good to see you. So that's about it. Monday evening, 8 o'clock is when the best chance of rain's coming in the evening from like 7 o'clock until 11 o'clock. All right, guys, I'm going to go eat my dinner. And like I said, next week we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to be doing something recorded at Straz on 6, the musical. It's awesome. Dr. Beach Jim's going to be in on Tuesday. I don't know if she's in studio or not. I have not talked. My producer/handler, Jocelyn, was at Disney World today, and she rode Thunder Mountain. Now, Thunder Mountain's been closed for like a year and a half or however long it's been. And she texted me and said that it's a really different ride now, that it is much smoother than it used to be. It used to be kind of a bumpy ride. It's very, very smooth now. New sights and sounds on it as well, but the biggest difference was the smoothness. So anyway, I'll have to check with her. I don't know if Dr. Beach Jim's in here or not, if it's in Zoom. I hope she is, because it's way better to have her in person. So we got stuff going on next week. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in as always, and we will see you tomorrow at the Palm Harbor Hurricane Expo. If you get a chance, stop on by and say hi. And if you don't, we'll see you on Monday on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. See you guys.